There used to be a show that I would watch. I think it was on the Discovery Channel. And the show was called I Shouldn't Be Alive. And really the show was the premise of people in these tragic accidents who are maybe in the middle of nowhere in the Atlantic or the Alaska, and somehow they make it out. And I don't know why this always was something I like to watch. Maybe it was because the hope, it takes a lot of hope to really endure such pain, such suffering, in the mental and physical strain they went through. It was amazing. But there was something there. There was something there that really was in each one of them. It was a sense of faith that if they persist, maybe, just maybe they would live. And in those extreme circumstances, that's what they needed. They needed a certain faith and to hold on to that faith. But they needed to persist every day until maybe someone might help them. In today's readings, it talks about persistence in prayer. In the gospel, Jesus tells a parable about a dishonest judge. Now, don't relate the dishonest judge to God. It's very loosely related. It's more saying that even a dishonest judge will cave and give with persistence. So isn't an all-knowing, all-loving God, wouldn't he do much more for us? But oftentimes in our lives, we might look at our faith, we might look at our prayer as black and white, as all or nothing, as either failure or success. But our faith, our prayer isn't that. Mother Teresa's quote that I love so much really speaks to this. She says, we're not called to be successful, we're called to be faithful. We're not called to be successful, we're called to be faithful. And it's so easy in the secular world to look at everything in our life as either success or failure. But our lives are more than that. It's a relationship. There is more to it. Being faithful is coming back, even when we stumble. Being faithful is listening to that desire in our heart, even when we can't see it, even when we don't know what it might mean. Being faithful is continuing to persist. The heart of prayer is faith. And faith is a gift that's given to each one of us. If you sit quietly before the Blessed Sacrament, you start to hear your faith, start to see it more clearly. Oftentimes people say seeing is believing. And just because we don't see our faith or we don't see the fruits of our prayer, we stop believing. But maybe we're looking at it through the wrong lens. We're looking at it with all or nothing. We're not looking at it as a relationship. Now, if you sit quietly before the Blessed Sacrament, you start to hear the chatter of your heart and your mind. But that's what prayer is meant to do, is meant to bring our minds and our hearts and lift it up to God, but without no strings attached. Oftentimes, we're too afraid to truly pray, to truly speak our desires of our hearts. But that's what we truly need to do, is trust in the faith in God and to continue to persist, to be faithful. And just if we do that, maybe one day we will be able to see the graces of God in our life. Maybe we'll start to see how our faith is forming. You know, the first reading shows the persistence of prayer. Everyone in the great tradition of our faith, they didn't do it without praying. And in the first reading shows Moses, shows that when he was praying to God, the battle went their way, but when he stopped, they went the other way. And sometimes we do need help. And that's where he had hope to lift up his arms. But so too today, we are needed, not only in our prayers, but we are needed to sign something to help life. You know, oftentimes in the pro-life, in the pro-choice debate, it might seem endless. It might seem like too much, but that's why we need to persist, continue to pray, continue to be with all those who suffer. But today we're given a real concrete thing that we can do. And at this moment, I would like everyone to pull these out. They're in your pews. And we're going to give you a chance right now to sign this. You know, the Kansas Supreme Court recently created a nearly unlimited right to abortion, to kill children up until their birth. And really what signing this is telling our legislature to reverse that ruling so that maybe we will have a choice as Kansans to vote for that, not just 6 Supreme Court people. So this is a chance to stand up for life. If you could fill this out, your name, your signature, and just your address. You don't have to put your email or phone number unless you want to be further contacted. All those who are 18 and older, we ask you to please sign this. And at this moment, we'll give you a moment to sign this out, fill this out. But as you come to receive the Eucharist today, where Christ is truly present before us in the Eucharist, I ask you to continue to ask the Lord for the strength and the courage to persist in your prayer, to believe in your faith, so that one day we will be able to see God truly before us. Amen.